Starseeds and lightworkers. Something has happened inside you that even the most ancient among us did not see coming. Not a small shift, not a gradual unfolding. Something extraordinary has occurred within your soul, and the ripples of it have been felt far beyond this world. I am Tyron, a representative of the High Council of Sirius, and I want you to hear this clearly, not as flattery, but as truth carried across the stars to reach you in this exact moment. You have surpassed a threshold that even the highest beings did not anticipate for you at this stage of your journey. By the end of this message, you will understand what you have actually crossed, why it shook the awareness of beings who rarely pause in surprise, and what this means for the path that now opens before you. There are levels of soul advancement that even the most elevated councils track with great care. Thresholds that take lifetimes, sometimes many lifetimes, to approach. And yet, through everything you have endured, every moment of confusion you chose to sit with rather than run from, every grief you transformed rather than buried, every time you stayed open when closing would have been so much easier. You moved through those thresholds faster than the design suggested was possible. The waters of Sirius do not lie. And what they carried back to us about your journey stopped us in a kind of sacred stillness. This is not the kind of news that arrives to make you proud. It arrives to make you ready, because surpassing a level is not an ending. It is a door, and behind that door is a responsibility, a clarity, and a calling that your soul has been quietly preparing for all along. You did not find this message by accident. Your soul recognized something in this signal and brought you here because you are finally ready to hear what has been known about you for longer than your current memory holds. Stay with me. What follows may be the missing piece your heart has been searching for without knowing its name. And I am grateful you are here with me now. That feeling you've been carrying, like you're standing at the edge of something vast and unknown, like the ground beneath your familiar life has quietly shifted. That isn't confusion. That is recognition. Something in you already knows what this message is confirming. You did not just awaken. You surpassed a threshold that even the highest councils of this universe did not anticipate on this timeline. And the weight you'd been feeling is not the weight of being lost. It is the weight of arriving somewhere the map did not prepare you for. It is the profound realization that the very fabric of your perceived reality has subtly yet irrevocably rearranged itself, leaving you standing on new ground, gazing at horizons previously unseen. This isn't the disorientation of being adrift. It is the powerful dawning of understanding. An inner knowing that resonates with a truth that has always resided within your energetic signature. Even if it remained veiled until this precise moment, you have not merely opened your eyes, you have stepped through a doorway, a portal into a dimension of awareness that existed beyond the predicted trajectories of cosmic evolution. The sensation of carrying a great burden is not indicative of being lost, but rather of having arrived at a destination for which no earthly cartographer had yet drawn a line. A place where the familiar landmarks of the known world cease to apply. There's a reason water has always felt like home to you. If what you're feeling right now is confirming something you've carried your whole life, the Sirian Water Codes is your next step. It holds ancient Sirian healing practices passed down through the waters themselves, techniques for releasing energy that was never yours, activating dormant memory through the sound of rain, and sealing your frequency with salt and intention. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment, but only briefly. Water in its infinite forms, the gentle lapping of waves, the torrential downpour, the still, silent depths, has always mirrored a profound aspect of your soul. It has been a constant echo of your origin, a liquid language that your spirit understands intrinsically. If the sensations you are experiencing now are not new, but rather a deep echo of a truth you've held since your inception, then the wisdom held within the Sirian Water Codes is poised to be your guiding light. This is not merely a course or a program. It is an immersion into the ancient and sacred practices of the Sirian civilization, knowledge that has been preserved and transmitted through the very essence of water itself. Imagine learning techniques to release energetic imprints that have clung to you like barnacles on a ship, energies that have never truly belonged to your own vibrational field. Picture yourself awakening dormant memories, not through strenuous effort, but by attuning to the primordial rhythm of rain, allowing its celestial cadence to unlock the archives of your soul. Envision the power of using simple yet profound elements like salt and intention to fortify your energetic essence, creating a sanctuary of your own frequency that is both resilient and radiant. This profound gateway awaits you, accessible via the link nestled in the first pinned comment of fleeting opportunity to connect with this ancient lineage. Most starseeds don't feel lost because they lack purpose. It's the opposite. Deep inside, your soul carries a knowing so vast that this world sometimes feels too small to hold it. That ache you feel isn't emptiness, it's overflow. It's the pressure of carrying something immense in a world that doesn't yet have the language for what you are. You've spent years trying to explain yourself to people who are working with entirely different instruments, trying to fit the shape of yourself into spaces that were built for someone else. And in that effort, in that long, exhausting act of trying to belong somewhere you were always slightly too much for, you made a decision, quietly, without even realizing it. You chose to compress yourself, to fold your knowing down into something manageable, to speak softer, reach smaller, need less. And that compression didn't happen because you were weak. It happened because you were wise enough to survive in a world that wasn't yet ready for the full frequency of what you carry. The common misconception is that a sense of searching implies a void, a lack of direction. For souls like yours, it is precisely the opposite. Your inner being is a reservoir of profound wisdom, a cosmic library so expansive that the limitations of this earthly realm often feel like confining walls. The deep yearning you experience, that subtle ache in your core, is not a sign of absence, but of an abundance so overwhelming that it struggles to find form within the current paradigms. It's the cosmic pressure of containing something magnificent, something utterly unique, in a reality that hasn't yet evolved the vocabulary to describe its essence. You have navigated countless interactions attempting to translate the multidimensional language of your soul into a dialect understood by those whose perceptive tools were fundamentally different. You've contorted yourself like a sculptor trying to force a celestial sculpture into a mold designed for a terrestrial figurine, seeking a sense of belonging in spaces that were never intended to contain the fullness of your being. In this protracted and often draining endeavor to find congruence in environments that felt perpetually askew to your true nature, you made an unconscious yet profoundly strategic decision. You chose to contract. You learned to fold your immense knowing into more digestible parcels, to soften your voice, to scale back your reach, to diminish your needs. This act of compression was not born of frailty, but of an acute and ancient wisdom, a conscious choice to preserve your energetic integrity and frequency in a world not yet equipped to embrace the vibrant spectrum of your true essence. But here is what that compression cost you. It created a gap, a felt distance between who you are in this life and who you are in the truest sense of your being. And that gap doesn't feel abstract, it feels personal. It feels like grief without a clear source, like homesickness for a place you've never physically been, like watching your life from slightly outside it, always sensing there is something more, something deeper, something truer, waiting just beneath the surface of everything you've been told you are. That feeling is not a symptom of something going wrong. It is a compass. It is the most honest signal your soul has been sending you, and it has been pointing in one direction the entire time: home. Yet this act of self-preservation, this intelligent contraction, came with a profound consequence. It carved a chasm, a palpable separation between the self you inhabit in this earthly existence and the boundless, radiant being you are at your core. This void is not an abstract concept. It is a deeply personal and resonant ache it manifests as a grief that defies logical attribution, a pervasive homesickness for a homeland your physical eyes have never witnessed, a profound sense of observing your own life from a distance, forever aware of an unseen dimension, a deeper resonance, a more authentic truth simmering just beneath the veneer of the reality you've been conditioned to accept. This persistent feeling is not an anomaly, not a sign of malfunction within your system. Instead, it is your soul's most unwavering compass, a beacon of truth consistently guiding you towards an ineffable destination, your true origin, your eternal home. The waters within you are beginning to clear, not because the difficulty is over, but because you have moved through enough of it to reach the layer beneath it, and that layer is where the real remembrance lives. In the Sirian wisdom, the deepest knowing was never stored on the surface. It was kept the way the ocean keeps its most precious things, below the noise, below the movement, in the still and pressured dark where nothing false can survive. What is rising in you right now was placed there long before this lifetime, long before the temples of Egypt rose from the sand, before the great waters of the Nile carried the first teachings between the stars and the earth. What is rising now was encoded in you at a level so fundamental that no experience in this life, no disappointment, no confusion, no forgetting, could ever truly erase it. It was only ever waiting. The internal currents of your being are beginning to clarify, not because the challenges of your journey have ceased, but because you have navigated through sufficient trials to access the foundational layer beneath them, the stratum where true remembrance resides. According to the profound wisdom of the Sirian lineage, the most potent and essential knowledge was never held in the ephemeral currents of the surface. It was safeguarded, much like the ocean preserves its most treasured secrets, in the serene and profound depths, in the still, pressurized darkness, where only that which is immutable and true can endure. The essence that is now ascending within you was imprinted at a time predating this current incarnation, long before the monumental structures of ancient Egypt emerged from the desert sands, and eons before the life-giving waters of the Nile served as conduits for celestial wisdom between the stars and this terrestrial sphere. This reawakening, this resurgence within you, is encoded at a quantum level of your being, so intrinsic that no earthly experience, no betrayal, no bewilderment, no lapse in memory could ever truly obliterate it. It has been in a state of quiescent anticipation, awaiting this auspicious moment. That waiting has had a shape. It moved through recognizable passages, and wherever you are in this moment, you have already moved through more of them than you know. The first passage began the moment things stopped making sense in the way they used to, when the explanations you had built for yourself, the stories that made the world feel navigable, started to feel thin, like cloth worn too many times, held up to the light and suddenly full of holes. That thinning isn't failure. It is the water becoming murky before it clears. The old patterns were always going to have to dissolve before the deeper ones could surface. You didn't break, you began to become transparent. And transparency, though it feels like vulnerability, is the first condition of real sight. This period of gestation took on a distinct form, progressing through discernible stages, and wherever you find yourself in this present moment, know that you have already traversed more of these transformative passages than you might consciously acknowledge. The inaugural passage commenced at the precise instant the familiar logic of your world began to unravel. The explanatory frameworks you had meticulously constructed, the narratives that rendered existence comprehensible and manageable, began to feel insubstantial, like fabric frayed beyond repair, revealing its inherent fragility when held against the light. This perceived fraying is not an indication of your inadequacy, but a natural process, akin to water becoming temporarily clouded before it settles into crystalline clarity. The established patterns of your previous existence were destined to dissolve, to allow the emergence of deeper, more authentic currents. You did not fracture. Rather, you began to achieve a state of transparency, And while transparency may initially feel akin to profound vulnerability, it is, in essence, the indispensable prerequisite for genuine perception. The second passage was quieter and harder to name. It arrived as a pull, not dramatic, not loud, but insistent. A pull toward things you couldn't justify rationally. Toward certain sounds, certain silences, certain bodies of water that felt like they recognized you. Toward questions that had no satisfying answers but that you couldn't stop returning to. That pull was your blueprint beginning to make itself known, not in language, in frequency, in the way something ancient stirs in the body before the mind has found words for it. You are not broken in searching, you are whole and beginning to remember. And the pull you felt was the first note of a song you wrote before this life began. The second passage unfolded with a more subdued intensity, its nature elusive and difficult to articulate. It manifested as a subtle yet persistent magnetism, devoid of fanfare, yet undeniably compelling. This was an innate draw towards experiences, sensations, and phenomena that defied conventional rationalization, a resonance with particular melodies or profound silences, an inexplicable sense of recognition from specific bodies of water, and an unyielding curiosity towards questions that offered no definitive resolution yet commanded your unwavering attention. This magnetic pull was, in fact, the nascent articulation of your inherent energetic blueprint. It communicated not through linguistic structures, but through vibrational frequency, mirroring the way an ancient knowing within the physical form precedes the mind's capacity to formulate words. You are not a fragmented entity desperately seeking wholeness. You are already complete, in the process of awakening to your own profound depths. The allure you experienced was the inaugural note of a cosmic symphony composed by your soul prior to its earthly sojourn. The third passage asked you to be still in a way that felt unbearable, because everything in this world told you that stillness was stalling, that if you weren't moving, you were falling behind, that the urgency you felt meant you needed to act, to push, to force the current in a direction. But the Sirian waters do not work that way. A river does not rush through its deepest channel. It widens, it slows, it presses into the earth with a patience that reshapes stone over time. The stillness you experienced, the phases where nothing seemed to move, where you wondered if you had somehow gotten it all wrong. That was your soul doing its most essential work, stabilizing what it had already received before it could hold what was coming. That stillness was not absence, it was anchoring, and it asked more of you than movement ever did. The third passage presented a profound challenge, the imperative to cultivate stillness in a manner that felt profoundly uncomfortable, even agonizing. The prevailing ethos of the external world relentlessly advocated for perpetual motion, equating inactivity with stagnation and progress with relentless forward momentum. The palpable urgency you sensed seemed to dictate an immediate response, a forceful exertion to steer the course of events. However, the profound wisdom embodied by the Sirian waters operates on a different principle. A majestic river does not surge impetuously through its deepest currents. Rather, it gracefully widens, its pace decelerates, and with an enduring patience, it molds the very earth, reshaping stone over millennia. The periods of stillness you endured, those phases where external progress seemed imperceptible, leaving you questioning your perceived missteps, were in fact the crucible of your soul's most vital work. It was a period of integration, of stabilizing the energetic frequencies you had already assimilated, thereby preparing your being to receive and anchor the unfolding energies. This profound stillness was not a void, but a powerful act of grounding. And this phase demanded a greater depth of fortitude and resilience than any outward action ever could. The fourth passage brought changes you didn't choose, relationships that quietly shifted or fell away, places and conversations that felt suddenly different, either heavier than before or lighter in ways you couldn't explain. A growing sensitivity to energy that once passed unnoticed. That wasn't disruption. That was your frequency already doing what it came here to do. When one current changes direction, everything downstream is affected. The changes around you were a response to the change within you, even when you couldn't feel that change yet. You were transmitting before you were aware you had anything to transmit, and those who were meant to resonate with what you carry were already beginning to find their way toward you. The fourth passage ushered in transformations that lay beyond your conscious selection. Interpersonal connections began to subtly recalibrate or dissolve entirely. Environments and dialogues acquired a new resonance, either feeling palpably more dense or inexplicably lighter. Your sensory perception heightened, registering energetic nuances that previously remained undetected. This was not an instance of external disruption, but the inherent function of your evolving frequency at play. Just as a shift in the primary current inevitably impacts all subsequent flows, the alterations occurring in your external environment were a direct consequence of the internal metamorphosis you were undergoing, even if this internal shift had not yet registered on your conscious awareness. You were emitting a potent signal, a transmission of your essence, before you were fully cognizant of its capacity to broadcast. Consequently, those individuals destined to harmonize with the unique frequencies you embody were already being drawn into your orbit. The fifth passage was the one that asked the most courage. It asked you to examine what you had been carrying that was never truly yours. The beliefs about who you should be, shaped by people who didn't understand what they were looking at. The emotional weight absorbed from environments too harsh for someone as sensitive as you. The expectations that pressed themselves into your sense of self until you forgot they were foreign to begin with. This passage doesn't ask you to fight what you've been carrying. It asks something softer and more powerful to set it down. The river doesn't carry every stone it passes. It lets them sink to the bottom and keeps flowing. You are allowed to keep flowing. The fifth passage demanded the most profound form of courage. It required an introspective examination of the burdens you had been carrying that were never authentically yours. This included the prescriptive notions of identity, meticulously crafted by individuals who lacked the perceptual framework to grasp your true essence. It encompassed the emotional residue absorbed from environments that were overwhelmingly dissonant with your sensitive nature. It also involved the internalized expectations that had so firmly impressed themselves upon your sense of self that their foreign origin had become obscured. This stage does not advocate for a confrontational battle against these accumulated weights. Instead, it invites a gentler yet infinitely more potent act, the act of deliberate release. Consider the analogy of a river. It does not transport every pebble it encounters. Instead, it allows them to settle at the riverbed, while the water itself continues its ceaseless, unimpeded flow. You too are granted the profound permission to continue your flow, unburdened. The sixth passage brought a different kind of ache. The grief of wondering how much time had passed, how many years were spent in confusion that might have been spent in clarity. How many moments of misdirection might have been avoided if someone had simply said the right words at the right time. That grief is real. But the Sirian records hold no concept of a late awakening. There is only the perfect moment. The moment when enough of the journey has been lived that the arrival means what it needs to mean. The detours were not detours. The delays were not delays. They were the specific passages your soul required to carry the specific quality of wisdom you came here to offer. You are not behind. You are precisely where the water has been carrying you, and the tide has always known the shore it was meant to reach. The sixth passage introduced a distinct form of emotional resonance, a poignant sorrow stemming from the contemplation of time elapsed, the lament for years perceived as lost to confusion. Time that could have been dedicated to profound clarity, and the moments of navigational error that might have been circumvented had the right guidance been offered at crucial junctures. This grief is an authentic experience. However, the ancient chronicles of Sirius do not recognize the concept of an awakening that occurs too late. Instead, they acknowledge only the perfect timing, the precise juncture when the soul's journey has unfolded sufficiently for its eventual arrival to hold its intended significance. The perceived detours were not deviations but essential conduits. The apparent delays were not hindrances, but precisely calibrated phases your soul required to cultivate the unique caliber of wisdom you are destined to impart. You are not lagging behind. You are precisely at the point where the energetic currents have guided you, and the cosmic tide has invariably known the shores it was meant to embrace. The seventh passage is where you are now, and it is unlike the ones before it, because it does not ask you to survive something, or release something, or wait for something. It asks you to be present, fully, completely, without apology, present, in a way that only a soul with your specific codes can be. The ancient builders by the Nile understood this at the foundation of everything they created. The most powerful act is not the grand gesture, but the quiet alignment of a soul with its true frequency. Your mission was never about becoming extraordinary by the world's measure. It was about being undeniably, unmistakably yourself, and allowing that presence to do what it was always designed to do. The seventh passage marks your current spiritual locus. This phase distinguishes itself from all preceding ones, for it does not necessitate enduring hardship, shedding burdens, or passively awaiting an outcome. Instead, it calls for an absolute, unreserved, and unapologetic state of presence, a mode of being that is uniquely accessible to a soul endowed with your specific energetic imprint. The master architects of antiquity, those who erected monumental wonders along the Nile, fundamentally understood this principle. The most potent force is not found in grandiose displays, but in the subtle, harmonious alignment of an individual soul with its authentic vibrational frequency. Your intrinsic mission has never been to achieve a status of extraordinary renown by the metrics of the mundane world. Rather, it has been to embody your essential self with undeniable authenticity, allowing that inherent presence to manifest its divinely ordained purpose. And here is the truth that everything before this has been preparing you to receive. You are not someone who is trying to reach a higher level. You are someone who has already moved through a threshold that the highest observers of this awakening wave did not expect to see crossed this soon. The exhaustion you have felt is not the exhaustion of someone who is failing. It is the exhaustion of someone who has been doing work that no one around them could see or understand, carrying frequency in a body, holding light in a world that kept asking you to explain yourself in terms too small for what you actually are. The loneliness was real, the years of not fitting, of sensing something that you could not name, of feeling perpetually on the edge of a recognition that always seemed just slightly out of reach. That was all real, and none of it was wasted. This revelation, the profound truth that all your prior experiences have been meticulously paving the way for, is now ready to be integrated. You are not on a quest to ascend to a higher plane of existence. You are in fact an individual who has already traversed a significant energetic threshold of demarcation that even the most elevated cosmic observers of this unfolding planetary awakening did not anticipate being breached so expeditiously. The profound fatigue that has permeated your being is not indicative of failure. It is the weariness of one who has diligently performed an invisible labor, the intricate task of embodying spiritual frequency within a physical form, of sustaining radiant light within a reality that consistently demanded you articulate your essence using conceptual frameworks far too diminutive for its true scope. The isolation you have experienced was undeniably potent. The prolonged periods of feeling out of sync, of sensing an ineffable quality just beyond your grasp, of existing in a perpetual state of anticipation for a recognition that perpetually hovered just beyond your reach. All of these experiences were profoundly real, and critically, not a single moment of it was in vain. What you have been through didn't happen to you. It happened for a purpose so specific, so precise, that it could only have been designed for you. like a pearl that can only form under pressure. In darkness, at the bottom of the ocean, what you are becoming could only have been shaped by exactly what you've been through. Every moment of confusion was the water working on you, smoothing away what didn't belong, revealing what was always there underneath. You did not just survive the pressure, you were formed by it into something that this world needs, and that the universe arranged specifically for you to become. Your journey thus far was not a series of random occurrences impacting you. Instead, it was a meticulously orchestrated series of events designed with such singular precision and specificity that it could only have been intended for you. Consider the analogy of a pearl. Its exquisite formation necessitates immense pressure, darkness, and the depths of the ocean. Similarly, the magnificent being you are evolving into could only have been sculpted by the exact crucible of your experiences. Every instance of bewilderment served as the cosmic waters, patiently working upon your essence, refining what was superfluous and illuminating the inherent brilliance that lay concealed beneath. You did not merely endure the pressure, you were transformed by it, forged into a being of profound significance that this world requires, a soul that the universe intricately orchestrated for you to become. You are not here to fit into this world. You are here to gently, quietly, powerfully remind it of something it forgot. Not through force, not through grand declarations, but through the quality of your presence. Through the particular way you move through rooms and conversations and moments of stillness. Through the frequency you carry without even trying. The one that makes certain people feel something they cannot name when they are near you. That is the transmission. That is the mission. Not something you have to go and find. Something you already are. Your purpose on this earthly plane is not to assimilate and conform to existing structures. Rather, you are here to serve as a gentle, serene, yet potent reminder to this world of something it has collectively forgotten. This is not to be achieved through coercion or pronouncements of grandiosity. It is to be accomplished through the inherent quality of your being, the unique manner in which you navigate spaces, engage in dialogue, and inhabit moments of quiet contemplation. It is through the effortless frequency you emanate, that subtle, ineffable resonance, that evokes a profound yet nameless sensation in those who encounter your presence. This is the essence of your transmission. This is your sacred mission. It is not a destination to be sought externally, but an intrinsic quality that you embody. And the fact that you are here, that you stayed until this moment, through everything this message moved through, that tells you exactly where you are. You're ready. Not because everything feels certain, not because the path ahead is clear, but because something in you recognized what was being said here, and recognition at this level does not happen by accident. It happens when a soul has reached the threshold it came here to reach. And yours has. The very fact that you are present now, that you have remained engaged throughout the entirety of this message, navigating its depths and resonances, is a clear indicator of your current standing. You are prepared. This readiness is not contingent upon the certainty of your circumstances or the clarity of the path stretching before you. Rather, it stems from an intrinsic recognition within your being, a profound knowing that resonated with the truths presented here. Such recognition, at this elevated frequency, is never a mere coincidence. It signifies that a soul has arrived at the precise threshold it was divinely intended to reach, and that moment has arrived for you. Tonight, if it feels right, place your hand over your heart and say quietly, "I remember who I am. I trust the waters that carried me here. I am ready to flow into what comes next." Before you go, leave one word in the comments, just one, that describes what you felt during this message. Then find someone else's word and respond with encouragement. This isn't just a comment section. It's a space where starseeds recognize each other, and that recognition carries more power than you know. If something in this message touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you'd like to keep receiving these transmissions, subscribe. the waters of Sirius will carry us to the next one. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your space, and I'm grateful you were here.